kids have a natural sense of joy, and it's something that we want to help them to develop as a sense of self. What is happiness as a sense of self? Happiness as a sense of self is when a child, an adult, person of any age recognizes that what they have within them is all working together for their good. It's all working together. They can see who they are, who they have, what they have, and what they can do. When you see who you are, it doesn't mean that you deny your experiences with negative emotions, rejection, the errors that you make, the things that you do that are wrong. It doesn't mean that you deny those. You accept those as part of your human experience, as part of your human way of being. We make mistakes. And then there's this other part of you, the spirit self, that comes from God. And it's beautiful and it's wonderful. And it needs guidance on how to be the best it can be in your body through your life. Okay? Now, when we talk about recognizing who we are, we got to talk about who we have. Who do we have? So sitting with your young person and listing the people that they have in their lives that love them, that makes a difference. That makes a difference, because when the person recognizes who they have as resources, it gives them encouragement, inspiration, motivation, and the space to discipline their minds at a different level, discipline their hearts at a different level. And here, when throw this in there, we got to discipline our appetites. We can't eat all day and not move. We've got to be moving. We've got to balance what we put in us with what we put out there. And so teaching kids to do that, it helps them to recognize the power they have in their own lives. Now, we've mentioned happiness as a sense of self. Who you are, positive and negatives, who you have, now what you have. What you have. We have so much. We have so much. And I would encourage you with your young person to list, what are the things that they have? What do you have? From physical to emotional. If you want to put in financial, if your child is saving money, has an account that's growing money, put that in there. And all of the objects they have in the house, the things they have access to, those count as what they have. Housing, transportation. If your child is physically able-bodied, that's a huge having. And if your child has a disability, they still are able. They're still able, okay? So, listing what you have. And this is the fun part. List, and watch what happens as you pay attention to what you have. See, what happens is we focus on what we don't have, and then we get discouraged. But then we have to go to, well, what do I have? And when you talk about having a positive mental attitude, it's not a denial of hardship. It's not a denial of challenges and heartbreak and disappointment and adversity. Those things are real. Those things exist. But when we get into what we have, in light of the circumstances, in light of the difficulties, we're in a very powerful place. And then you go to, wow, what can I do with what I have? That's more fun. That's more fun. Now, the reason why I want you to name these things out loud is because we're talking about rejection, and how do we help kids to see themselves outside of rejection? The earth is beautiful. The world can be very hostile. The earth There's no racism in the earth. You go into nature, there's no racism. There's no isms in nature. It's all there. Things are working together. The ecosystem is working with all elements of the ecosystem to make things work. It's operating within its intelligence. The sad thing that can happen with rejection is that it interferes with our intelligent flow and our intelligent design. We're multi-intelligent. We're multi-purposeful, right? We have many purposes within that purpose of our existence, okay? But, and you know, let me say, instead of multi-purposeful, because that can be a little confusing, we're multi-dimensional. We have a purpose. So when we think of happiness as a sense of self, we have to think of purpose, a purposeful sense of self. And the purpose has so much dimensions to it. So I'll say multi-dimensional, okay? And when we think about, wow, rejection takes us off center. And it makes us wonder, well, what do I do now? We have to recalibrate. So when you look at what you have, after experiencing that rejection, after experiencing that heartbreak, that disappointment, that adversity, that frustration, that difficulty, you'll recognize you have more advantages. And this is what we want our young people to do. We want them to recognize the advantages that they have in light of the adversities they experience. So they don't have to wonder, well, what's going to happen to me? Because so-and-so didn't invite me to their house. So-and-so didn't like my post. So-and-so didn't share it. So-and-so didn't subscribe. Nobody said anything when I did the dance in front of them. Or everybody came up to me after I did the dance, and now I don't know if I can sustain this attention that I'm getting. Can I get more of it? Am I good enough? These are the questions that young people ask, especially our middle schoolers and our high schoolers. Can I sustain what I'm getting? So I'm going to pause there because I want you to take a moment with that young person that you love to list, who are you? I'll just say good and bad for simplicity, negative and positive, the good, bad, and the ugly, or the good, bad, and the beautiful, whatever, however you want to categorize it. We have some sides to us, the shadow self, as Dr. Jung introduced so many years ago. So we have these different parts of ourselves. Then we look at, well, what do we have? Oh, before that, who do we have? Who do we have? Who do we have? Who loves us? Who cares for us? Who wants to see us win? Then, what do we have? Physical things, ability, money to create different opportunities. And then, what can we do? There's so much we can do. There's so much we can do, and this is really important because we don't want our young people, especially as we move forward with different technological advances, we want our young people to have a confidence that comes from competence. They can participate because they have the skill set, because they have the knowledge of self. They have self-trust and they have self-respect. And it flows from having those experiences that develop their mind, body, and makes them better people. I hope this is helpful for you. Let me know if you've done this activity, looking at who you are, who you have, and what you can do with what you have, and how that makes a difference for your young person. And if you haven't tried it yet, leave me a comment below and let me know if you'll give it a try.